The Fed just sent a message, and President Trump isn't going to like it. While the White House is pressuring for rate cuts to juice growth heading into 2026, the Federal Reserve made one thing clear: it's not ready to play along. On June 18th, the Fed held interest rates steady at 4.25 to 4.50%. That wasn't a surprise. What matters is what they didn't do. They didn't hint at an imminent pivot. They didn't shift dovish. And inside the Fed, sentiment is hardening. 7 out of 19 officials now expect no cuts at all for 2025. That's a major shift, and a direct rebuke to Trump's push for easier money. Yes, the official projection still shows 2 cuts, but that's just the median. Underneath that number is a growing divide, and it shows the Fed doesn't believe a cut is the right move under current conditions. That puts Powell in a tough spot. The Trump administration is pushing for cheaper borrowing and faster growth, but the Fed is staring down sticky inflation, rising oil prices, and global trade tensions. Core PCE inflation was revised upward to 3.1%. GDP growth was revised down to 1.4%, and unemployment is expected to rise to 4.5%. That's slower growth, higher inflation, and zero consensus on what to do next. Even 2026 projections were adjusted higher. The Fed now sees rates ending next year at 3.6%, not 3.4%. That signals a slower path to easing and a longer stretch of tight policy. It's not a pivot, it's a holding pattern. And Powell isn't softening the tone. He acknowledged uncertainty. He flagged tariff risks, but he didn't offer markets the rate cut timeline they wanted. If anything, he reinforced the idea that the Fed isn't taking direction from the White House and won't be rushed into policy changes by political pressure. The neutral rate remains at 3.0%, the only thing that didn't move. But the context has changed. 3% used to be the ceiling. Now it might be the baseline. So what should you take away from this? If you're a homeowner or investor hoping for relief, the Fed's not in a hurry. If you're a business relying on cheap financing, the cost of capital is staying high. And if you're watching this unfold through a political lens, know that the tension between the Fed and President Trump is real, and it's only growing. This meeting wasn't a non-event. It was a power statement. The Fed is holding its ground, even as the White House tries to push the other way. And that disconnect may define U.S. economic policy for the rest of 2025. If you're new here, this is Global Notes by JP, where we break down central banks, markets, and the power moves shaping global finance. Subscribe to stay ahead of the noise. And if you want to know why Powell is still holding back, even with political pressure mounting, watch our video Powell's Pivot: The Real Reason Rate Cuts May Never Come. It's linked in the description and on screen now. Thanks for watching.